welcome to What Are You Grateful For? My name is Eleanor. I'm the creator and host of this podcast. So, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. Today's episode 4 is titled Procrastination versus Discipline. Before we get into the episode today, I do want to I do have some announcements to make. My first announcement is if you are not following me on social media, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and follow me. My handle is at the Spiritual Beauty Queen on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Now, the second announcement is I have a spiritual hygiene box coming out, a clearing box coming out December 15th. It should be shipped depending on the day you ordered it. And it is going for $30.30. If you're interested in it, you can find it in my link tree, which leads you to my Etsy store. And the box again is $30.30. It comes with a 15-minute mini reading by me. It comes with a clearing candle, a clearing bath, as well as a mystery gift. Now that we have the announcement out of the way, thank you so much. I am going to go ahead and start about this episode. We're going to go ahead and talk about this episode. So the reason why I want to do this episode today and why I was like, okay, I think we should talk about discipline today is because this is something that I'm struggling with. In my last episode, we talked about, oh my God, I don't know why I had the blink. So in my last episode, we talked about being delusional. And I realized that I was being delusional because I'm being called to do certain work and to be committed to the work and be consistent to the work and just keep going without knowing what's going to happen. And although that is life, the issue when it comes to me is that I've had trauma, and I'm sure everyone has trauma. I'm definitely not going to, I'm going to kind of pause because I feel myself trying to compare my trauma to other people, but I'm not going to do that. But why I bring that up is that due to my trauma, there's certain things that I don't want to experience. And because of that, it is simply like I may avoid something in order to avoid a certain outcome that I feel like the experience will give to me. And that all comes from fear, right? And I no longer want fear to disillusion me to what could be a really great experience in my life. And I know that in order to combat my disillusion and to get to where I need to get, I need to be ready. I need to stay in position so when the time comes, when the opportunity comes, that it doesn't slip through my hands. And I need to be disciplined about it. So I have been doing a couple of things in order to be more disciplined in a time that I'm not disciplined. I wouldn't say that I don't have any discipline, but I will say that I used to be way more disciplined than where I'm at right now. And I would do things consistently all the time, and nothing would stop me from doing what I had to do. So I want to talk about this discipline today. I want to talk about this because I want to share my journey with you. There are some people who are starting over again, like myself. There are some people who are just starting. And there are some people who are on the path but may be wanting to give up. So I want to share a little bit about discipline with y'all today, and I want to talk about it because I'm starting over. And I want to talk about this topic, again, discipline versus procrastination. I want to talk about this topic because I recognize that it is so easy to just and to just stay in your comfort zone and just to stay stagnant. It's really easy to do those things, and it's a little bit more challenging to kind of push forward in your life. I don't want to talk so much more on the topic of discipline until I give a definition. This is something that I like to do. So according to Jim Rohn, discipline is defined as a constant human awareness for the need of action and a conscious act by us to implement that action. Again, according to Jim Rohn, he says a discipline is a constant human awareness for the need of action and a conscious act by us to implement that action. And I love that because it's saying that, for me, how I'm interpreting what he's saying is that we are, as people, we're aware that we have to do something, and with that awareness comes the action behind it. And I love that because as a person who's an overthinker, reading this definition of discipline is going to help me not to think and simply just go straight forward with action. Okay, so I just want to see what the dictionary version of it is. So, according to the dictionary, dictionary.com, discipline is training to act in accordance with rules, an activity, exercise, or regime that develops or improves skills, i.e., training. It also says a branch of instruction of learning, punishment inflicted by a way of correction and training, a rigor or training effective experience, behavior according to the rule of conduct. So here, discipline is defined as something that is defined as control, and it's also defined as development. And I'm actually really happy I looked up this word because I know what the word means, but I've never actually looked at what the word means according to the dictionary. And I like that discipline also talks a lot about training and how you are essentially training yourself in this very rigid way to get to where you want to go. And the thing about discipline is the first thing that it teaches us is that it's not the easiest option. And I can say that to say because, again, it is really easy to live a mediocre life. It is very easy to just do what you need to do. It is very easy to go to the beach instead of doing adulting. It's very easy to maybe smoke a joint instead of going to the gym. It's maybe easy to watch Netflix and chill all day instead of maybe going for a walk and being physically active. Those are really easy options. It's easy to push down your pain and ignore it and maybe have ice cream or food or some other source that is just as addictive in order to ignore what you're actually going through. That's a lot easier. It's harder to go to therapy and talk about your feelings. It's harder to look at yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself about where you're actually at. That's really hard. That is not easy. And the easy part is just to ignore it. And the thing is that discipline gives you a reward at the end, but the reward isn't something that you get right away. It's something that you get over time. Just like if you're disciplined and you go to the gym and you become disciplined with your diet, you get a reward, and that is your body. Whether your body looks slamming after a year or whether your body looks slamming after 5 years. And a year is just a taste of where you can actually go. A year is not a completion of the project. There's so much more you can do with your body if you do it for more than 1 year and you're continuous with it. And that is what discipline gives you. And that is the easiest way I can explain where someone can visualize how discipline brings them somewhere. Now, talking about procrastination, according to Jim Rohn, says is that if there is a considerable time that passes between the moment of awareness and the time of our implementation, that is called procrastination. Meaning that if we have the awareness and we know we have to do something and we're not doing it, then we're procrastinating, especially if it is a large amount of time. And we're not talking about a week here. We're not talking about an hour. We're not talking about perhaps even a month. We're talking about years. We're talking about months. We're talking about a large, considerable time in which you have decided not to take action. And we can look at it in health. Some people get diagnosed with diabetes, and they decide, okay, I have two choices. I can get on medication and change my diet, or I can continue to eat the way that I was eating and I'll toss it up in the coin. So let's say person A decides to change their diet, take the medication. Person B decides to take the medication and not change their diet, and they continue with their lifestyle. Now, person A changes their diet, changes their lifestyle, changes their mindset, because once they decide to change just one thing about them, every part of their life starts to be different, because now who they are as a person has been changed, and now they view the world in a different way. And because their view on the world has changed, they start seeing things differently. Now, let's say the incredible story about A is that they lose weight, they no longer have to take the pills, and they continue to live a happy, full life because they are cured from diabetes. And let's just say person B, of course, they kept doing what they were doing, lost a toe. Now, both person A and both person B had the same opportunity to change, but only one person took it. And person B stayed where they were comfortable. And I think he was procrastinating because he didn't want to change. Because he had the awareness, because according to the definition, it is the moment of awareness. And at the time, the procrastination is if there is a considerable time that passes between the moment of awareness and the time of implementation, then it is called procrastination. So person B procrastinated with their health, and respectfully, they fucked around and found out. According to my story, they, excuse me, I'm trying to actually stop cursing, so I'm going to try not to curse anymore. But they played with their health, and I don't want to play with my life. That's why I'm recording these episodes. That's why I am being consistent. And it's not just, it is very hard. Because I didn't post on my TikTok today, except just the stories. And I was like, oh, I'll just post tomorrow. Like, I just posted on my stories. And I was like, no, I can't. I just started. And it's only been day 2. So it's just a reminder to offer myself grace, and also just to take it literally like one day at a time. And as I'm taking it one day at a time, I'm recognizing that it's okay if I mess up, and it's okay if I feel tired, but just to keep the action moving, because discipline is going to keep me centered when I don't have the motivation. And that's why it's important to be disciplined. And according to the dictionary version of this definition is training, and I'm being trained. I'm training for a certain lifestyle that I want. I want to be a social media influencer. I want to be a content creator that gets paid. I want to be a podcast host that gets to interview great people or have great people on my podcast and for people to listen to it. I want to be a cosmetic scientist. I want to be a college graduate. I want to be I want to be in a successful relationship, a successful, happy, healthy, whole relationship. I want that. And I have to do the work behind it. And I have to do my training. So sometimes discipline could be going to therapy. and being consistent with your health, your mental health, and your spiritual health. Sometimes discipline could be going to the gym so you can start having a routine and being disciplined in that way, you know? And, discipline teaches us that number one, it's not the easiest option. And number two, it's a full-time activity. And what I mean by full-time activity, it requires conscious effort on your end. I woke up today at 6 o'clock. I want to stay asleep. It's the winter time. It's cold. I'm cold. And in the winter, you find that really warm spot in your blanket, and you don't want to leave because it's the perfect temperature. You're not too hot, you're not too cold. It just feels right. And I love sleeping with my window open, and I love feeling that cool air. I definitely don't want to get up because I don't want to feel cold. I don't want my feet to get cold. And I don't want to have to go back into bed and to find that perfect spot again. I don't want to do it. But I still got up. I fixed my bed. I cleaned my room. I cleaned the bathroom. I was very consistent in what I was doing. And I stayed disciplined in the moment. And I didn't want to. I wasn't motivated to get up. I wasn't excited to get up. I wanted to stay in bed. I really wanted to stay in bed. But I knew that what I want more is not valuable to me staying in bed. The things that I want are on the other side of me getting up, or rather of me staying in bed. And I want more. I want to live a luxury lifestyle. I want to go to the spa every month. I want to get my nails done, my hair done, a full body scrub, a full body massage, a facial. I want to be able to go to the grocery store, whether that be Whole Foods or ShopRite or Aldi's or Trader Joe's, and not flinch if I have to spend $250 in a week for groceries. I want to go to the gas station and say, fill it up, and not worry about how much it's going to cost. I want to pay my utilities 3 months in advance and not have to do those things, but it's going to require discipline, and it's going to require me putting myself in position to where I need to be in order to get where I need to go. And the time is now. There's no other time like right now. So if I don't stay disciplined, if I don't focus on my goals, if I don't focus on what really matters, then I'm not too sure how I'm going to get there. And it's going to take some time. So like I said in the other video, when I talked about being delusional, I talked about some things that I'm doing. One of the things that I'm doing here is I have this workbook, and this is called Magical Moments, an Empowerment Squad Wellness Journal focusing on your energetic flow. This is by Carla, and in the book it says, well, I'm not going to read the thank you part, but she says, I talk about these keys at greater lengths throughout the journal. My goal is to help you focus on your time and energy on the areas that you need it most by providing you with various tools to help you along the way. And then it says, take this 4-week journey with me and become a more empowered version of yourself. I got this journal because I do have a time where I may spend my energy somewhere that doesn't need to be spent. So I got this journal so I can learn to focus on what really matters, because I don't want to spend major time on something that is minor. I want to spend major time on something that's major. I am going to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. I'm not going to the gym for my health. I'm not going to the gym for anything but to be more disciplined. Because I know if I go to the gym, I'm going to be mindful of what I eat. especially if I go to the gym in the morning. And if I have to go to the gym in the evening, I know I'm not going to drink soda because I don't want to get a cramp because I'm dehydrated. I have to do these things. I got this journal so I can learn how to focus on what needs to be focused and realize that some things could actually just be a distraction. So I got this journal. I'm not too sure what discipline is going to look like for you. I'm not too sure what discipline tools that you could have, but is journaling. Mine is listening to motivational speakers in the morning. Mine is to go to the gym. Mine is to surround myself with people who have the same type of mindset and who have a goal and they want to get somewhere. That is my goal, and that is what I'm surrounding myself with. And I know that, like Jim Rohn said, discipline will get me to buy the beach, whereas procrastination will get me to visit the beach. And I don't want to visit the beach. I want to own it. I want to own it. Just like I want a happy, healthy, full relationship. I got to face my demons before I can even ask anyone to face them with me. Those are the things that I need to do. And I'm okay with it. I got to be okay because what I want is on the opposite side of discipline. And I don't know the reward discipline is going to give me. I don't know how much time I have to spend doing these things to get the reward that I want. I just know that I got to keep going. Because I've already made the choice. So now I have to do the work. And I can't just talk. I got to let people see my moves. Sometimes moving in silence and letting them know your blessings after. As soon as it's locked in and loaded, it's just letting people know then. So, yeah. And just remembering not to stay disciplined in just one area, but all areas. And, for example, I'm going to the gym. So that means I immediately became disciplined in how I'm eating. I immediately became disciplined in how much I'm sleeping. I immediately became more disciplined on my time because I know that now my time is becoming more and more limited because of the things that I have to do with my time. So, discipline is going to get you where you want. And I guess the question today at the final question of the podcast, how I'm going to leave it, actually, final two questions is number one, what area in your life do you need to become more disciplined in? The second question is, what are you grateful for? I'm grateful for my self-awareness. Although I think that ignorance is bliss sometimes, because when you don't know, no one can be mad at you for not knowing. I'm grateful for my parents. I'm grateful for waking up today. I'm grateful for going to the library. I'm grateful for defending myself today. I'm grateful for a lot. So those are the two questions. What are you guys grateful for today? Because the podcast is called, What Are You Grateful For? What are you grateful for today? Okay. So again, thank you for coming to What Are You Grateful For? My name is Eleanor. I'm the creator and host. And before we sign off, I ask you to follow me on social media. Become a part of my community. I'm so happy to have you here. I talk about spirituality, self-care, and my journey as an entrepreneur, first-time entrepreneur. And if you are interested in spiritual hygiene, I am selling a clearing box that is going to be shipped December 15th if you pre-order. And it's waiting for you. December 15th. It is waiting for you. That box is waiting for you. It is available in my Etsy store. And how to get to my Etsy store is to follow me on Instagram, and you'll see the link in my bio. And that's it. I hope y'all have a great day. I want to say thank you again for being here. And this is Eleanor, and I'm out. Peace, y'all.